In a previous video, I shat on the how they chose to portray the orcs because they turned uh interesting race with a completely different culture and a completely different mindset that most dungeon masters use as just the typical beat the hell up over the head type race into effectively humans, like the way they acted, the way they dressed, the way they look. They're just humans with large teeth. And because of that, people are like, "What is this? The new design? Like this looks goofy. This looks like an idiotic design." But and I thought it was a fluke at first, but I still looked at it and was like, "Look, this is not what people want when they see fiction. They don't just want humans that look like dwarves, like again, they don't want orcs that just look human, that act human, but they're orcs because they look like that. Like they want a completely different and fantasy race. So now I'm looking at this art, right? This other art with many different races, right? Like you have the dark elf walking with, I'm assuming, the regular elf. You have whoever the hell this is supposed to be, another dark elf playing here. You have, again, multiple races intermingling, right? And this is fine for store if it's that type of story. But again, when people see this, they don't think D&D. Like it's people want the dark, grizzled D&D campaign where there's strife and war all over the place. Like people don't want the corporate D&D, where it's just this very corporate art that just doesn't really portray anything. Like this guy, you can add his entire character and just replace everything in the background and it'll still be applicable. Same thing with whoever the hell they are. Like you can switch them out with any backdrop, any people in the back, and it'll just be the same. Like this isn't portraying emotion. This just looks like corporate Western art. And like I was like this. Like this doesn't, again, this doesn't remind you of D&D, right? Like imagine a campaign that where you have to do this. Like this reminds you of the wage cage, right? It reminds you of the 9 to 5 job. Look, I play D&D to escape this. I don't want to leave my D&D can't be in my D&D campaign and have this, right? I don't want this, right? I don't want this, you know. It's like I look at this, and again, you get the wage cage, you get doing goofy 9 to 5 job, you get reality in this. It's like this right? Like look, you're doing this. You have them putting up those hands and making some sort of facial thing, and you got her looking horrific at the fact that she's in this picture. And it looks like this. It just look. It looks like this. Look at this. Like, is this what people want? Indeed, is this the type of art you want to portray in D&D? Because it's difficult for me to get enamored in this. Like this. Like I don't want a campaign where it's this. And you have people who are like, oh, well, if you're just going to make goblins and orcs just the main baddie, well, your campaign must be shit. And I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell me in the campaign I'm in? Or if I'm the DM, who are you to tell me if my campaign is trash? Look, I don't go into your campaign, right? If this is your campaign, fine, but I don't go there and shit on it. Well, one, I will not even intermingle in this goofy campaign if this is what you do. But don't come to where I am and be like, oh, hey, your campaign's trash. Like, who the fuck are you to me telling me how I can want to play the game? Look, there are certain characters, certain people that just want to make a character that does the big bonk, right? Just goes into combat, rolls for damage, does big damage, and then move on. Like, there are them types of people who just want to be in combat, and the DM capitulates, and I think that's fine. You know, you just roll the dice, do the damage, you know, let it be. But again, they don't want this, right? They don't want the big bonk. They don't want people who just want to be in the camp. Like, they don't want me as a demographic, right? They want whoever likes this art, right? Well, they want this in this, and it's like, why do you want to portray this? You know, are you being forced? Is someone holding your family hostage? Is like, no, you must portray reality in fiction right now. Because again, I look at this and it makes me cringe. I'm like, oh, why are you doing this to yourself? But people apparently want this. It's fucking weird to me, you know, or at least people who do not play D&D. You know, people of an ideology that surrounds themselves with people of the same ideology, and they have to profligate their ideology when and wherever they can. So they're like, yes, we need it to be this, right? Yes, we need it. We need a fantasy universe to be this. And I'm not saying this wouldn't be an interesting campaign. I'm just looking at the way Wizards of the Coast is going, looking at the type of people they want as an audience, looking at the type of people that criticize me for pointing it out, and I'm just like, okay, so you do want fiction to be reality, huh? Very, very, very odd. But I mean, anyway, that's all I gotta say. It's just so odd that they hired artists to make. And again, what is this supposed to portray other than the wage cage? Like, I get no emotion from this. Like, I don't feel like I want to adventure with this character or this character. They just look bland and like they look like NPCs. Where the point is to portray, is to make a character was like, oh, I might actually want to adventure with that character. He seems interesting. Like, none of these characters look interesting. But anyway, before I go on a whole nother rant, that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.